competition the union of two nations in sport. As the mass destruction of the terrorist plans were realized, a nation stood still in horror, and for that day, soccer seemed to no longer have an importance.
We never want to forget what happened, you know, and remind us and think of the families and keep them in our hearts and prayers, and, you know, because they're still going through it.
Today, the U.S. women's national team will once again proudly wear the colors of the U.S. in an emotional display of remembrance, reflection, and sport.
It's going to be kind of like a homecoming in a sense for us. It's where, you know, we dealt with all those emotions, leaned on our teammates.
I think it's great because, you know, a chance to get back there when we were supposed to play on that day and we didn't, and now we have a chance to play in front of the Columbus fans.
For the third time, the U.S. women's national team comes to Central Ohio to play at Crew Stadium here in Columbus, Ohio. Their opponent today, Scotland, the first ever meeting between these two countries in U.S. women's soccer. Glad you're with us here on ESPN's live coverage alongside Wendy Gebauer-Palladino. I'm Rob Stone. The U.S. women's national team was here together as a family on September 11th. They're here together as a family, again, dealing with another difficult situation. Brandi Chastain's mother, Lark, passed away in her sleep Friday evening in California. Brandi is here, decided to play, and that's really something we kind of expected from Brandi.
Well, and if you knew her mother, she was a wonderful lady who would expect Brandi to be here and playing because that's what she loves to do. And she was a woman who touched everybody with her love and affection, and they're going to actually wear yellow armbands today in honor of that memory. And Brandi Chastain, though, in her time of need, takes on a role. Her defense needs her today. She's going to be organizing a defense. She's settling into a new role, trying to replace Carla Overbeck's leadership abilities. Of course, we've seen her attacking out of the back for years, but now her goal is to stay at home. But of course, on set pieces, let's not forget her aggression in the air.
And we move up top. The U.S. offense, always powerful. Mia Hamm back in the starting lineup for the first time this year for the red, white, and blue.
Mia Hamm has been battling injury. She is back, and in my opinion, she's actually back with more explosion and flair than I've ever seen in her game. She's fresh. She led her WUSA team into the championship game. She's going to be a force for Scotland to deal with.
Well, September 11th affected so many in so many different ways. I lost three very close college soccer friends from Colgate University. It affected everybody in a different way, and we here at ESPN are going to remember the heroes and the victims of 9/11 throughout the week as we lead up to Wednesday's ceremonies.
There's nothing like, you know, putting on the jersey and, you know, hearing the anthem. I mean, you're always singing along. It's very emotional and, you know, still a moment for us. And I think after that, it just, you know, I didn't really even know what it was like to be able to wear the U.S. jersey and to be able to hear our anthem like that. It's something that's really special and emotional for me.
These matches brought to you by Chevy. The cars you can depend on, the cars that last, will be there. By Phillips. At Phillips Electronics, we're dedicated to making the U.S. soccer fan experience even better. Phillips Electronics, let's make things better. And by Bud Light, official beer of the U.S. women's national soccer team. And glad you're back with us here in Columbus, Ohio. The U.S. taking on a rapidly improving Scotland team now. A moment of silence in memory of Lark Chastain.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to observe a moment of silence. Yesterday, the U.S. women's national team suffered a tremendous loss when Lark Chastain, mother of Brandi Chastain, passed away. Today, we honor one of America's first and greatest soccer moms who brought love and smiles to everyone she touched. We'll all miss you, Lark. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
That had to be a very challenging and difficult moment for Brandi. The facial expressions really told it all, and all of us here at ESPN, our condolences go out to Roger and Chad, the son of Lark. I've been fortunate enough to meet them. Great family, beautiful family, tremendous people, and just want you guys to know we're here to support you. This portion of the match brought to you by Bud Light. There's Cindy Parlow on the ball. The first ever meeting between these two teams. The U.S. 1-1 here all time at Crew Stadium. Soccer-specific Crew Stadium, home of Major League Soccer's Columbus Crew. Beautiful facility. The U.S. men's national team has had a ton of success and great moments here in the U.S. women's national team, hoping to do the same. There's Gemma Fay in net for Scotland, a very consistent keeper. And here's a look at your Avaya starting lineups for Scotland. And Wendy, they're in a bit of an ambitious 3-4-3.
3-4-3 definitely makes you think of attacking, and you know, they're coming after the U.S. They're a little bit nervous, but the player that's going to lead them out of the back is Cook. Also keep an eye on her on set pieces. She's great in the air. They have 4 players in the midfield, and Grant is a little work rate. Nikki Grant in the midfield. She's their playmaker. She's got a lot of energy, and up front she'll be looking for Fleeting of the WSA San Diego Spirit.
Fleeting is, without a doubt, their star player, and that was her on the ball momentarily broken up. Kate Sobrero, the Boston Breakers, on the ball. And here is Brandy Chastain. Probably somewhat of a relief for her to get on the field today and try and get some of that anguish out of her system.
Well, and she's so happy to have been in a position where she's on the road and she's with her, you know, her second family. And these players have really mobilized around her, and I think they're going to bring a lot of passion to this match because of what happened.
Parlow, the service. That one cleared out. And the U.S. fights, regains it. Tiffany Roberts, Lori Fair, back to Roberts. Got speed down the right side, looking for the service. It looked like that might have deflected off the arm, but that'll be the first corner of the game for the U.S. And here's April Heinrich's Avaya starting lineup. And again, April going with a 4-4-2. Hope Solo, the only collegian on the roster today in the net. She plays goaltender for the University of Washington.
And Jenny Benson, number 14 on the left side. She's fairly much of a newcomer in this U.S. defense, and she'll be playing off the left side. Very good attacking player. Tiffany Roberts really making an impact at defensive midfield. And then up front, Parlow and Hamm will combine together. Parlow great in the air, and of course Hamm is back on top of her game.
Christine Lilly. Sobrero sends it into the box. Settled. Nice step up there by Benson. Faye calls everyone off. Quick outlet.
When we talked to Coach Heinrich, she said she had some goals coming into this match. They wanted to try and accelerate their speed of play. These players came in pretty rested off of their WUSA season, but she wants to see an even quicker, even more accelerated speed of play, and they want to jump on Scotland and try and not let them breathe. This is a very young Scotland team with not a lot of international experience. And you know, they come in with a bit of nerves. They also want total dominance. No lapse in concentration for 90 minutes.
And that is Scotland's head coach, Tony Dorvas. Spoke with him before the game. Really likes the way his team is coming together. Some young players, some veterans, and they were in the lower tier of European teams, but they've really progressed lately. In fact, recently they just won Group 5 in European Women's World Cup qualifying play, which means they're basically now part of the top 20 European teams fighting for spots in the 2007 Women's World Cup. So they will not be taking part in the 2003 edition next year in China. And the U.S. not guaranteed a spot either. They're going to be working on that coming up soon. There's the first cross in the box. That's dangerous. Mia Hamm gets flipped up. Scotland retains it. Composure in the box a little too much. Hamm try to curl that one. Lilly settles it. Broken up and cleared out by Stacy Cook. That's Debbie McWhinnie with the ball. Flights it. Throw in for the U.S. and that'll be taken by Thori Bryant, playing a central defensive role. There's Julie Foudy, usually the captain. Today it will be Lori Fair, who's celebrating her 100th appearance with the U.S. Women's National Team. And there is Fair to Parlow, wide right. Nice move. Chips at far post. Hamm had gone inside and has to track back to get it. Cuts left. Serves over the top. Parlow. Kind of a tweener ball. Well, Mia is certainly the star of the U.S. team, but for Scotland, without a doubt, it's number 10, Julie Fleeting, who joined the WSA San Diego Spirit late in the season and had a very good season for them.
She's a great player, great natural ability to find the back of the net. You can see her here in some highlights from the WUSA. She combines well with her teammates, but she's a real finisher. She scored a ton of times for Scotland, and she's the player that they're going to be going to up top. So this U.S. defense, led by Brandi Chastain, needs to keep an eye on number 10, Fleeting.
Benson, Parlow lays it off. Hamm, one-time effort. Didn't get much on that. This portion of the match brought to you by Shell. Gemma Fay will have a busy and hot afternoon today. Stacey Cook, long ball, won by Chastain. Foudy challenged by Nikki Grant. Scotland has it. Julie Smith plays it back to Cook. Cook given time. Chastain settles it with a ton of time. Spins by one pursuer.
Rob, I talked about some of the goals by Coach Heinrichs and her staff for this match, and you know they're kind of training through this match. They've had a real physical week of training. Players have really been going after it, but this is also an opportunity for her to take a look at some of the depth in her roster, and also try and pick the team for the Nike Cup coming up at the end of this month. And one of the players that really is a symbolism of that depth is Hope Solo in the net. She's getting a start today. And that was really a developmental decision by April Heinrichs, trying to see whether or not she's got all the physical tools, but whether or not her mental game is up for her first international start with the full national team.
Interesting story about Hope. Her college team, Washington, plays the #1 ranked Lady Tar Heels today, and she obviously cannot be there. But April Heinrichs really wanted to give her some time. She's a solid keeper, the youngest of the 4 keepers that they brought into camp, but she's shown some inconsistency at times, prone to youthful mistakes, I believe is how April termed it, but she's great in the air and has very good feet as well. Bryan, long ball over the top of everybody. Parlow in pursuit. Cook plays it out.
Even though Hope gets a start, and as we mentioned, it's a developmental decision, the other goalkeepers that she was vying for all week in the training sessions, and the goalkeepers did have an unusual number of training sessions. They trained every morning before the regular team session, and then one afternoon they trained again as well. So, but she was in camp with Brianna Scurry and Siri Molinix and Lakeisha Bean. So how about that for some experience? And we will see Brianna Scurry in the second half, and she is back on top of her game. Just looks great.
We spoke with the Scottish head coach before the game, and he told us some of the strengths of this team: disciplined, well organized. They're showing that here in the opening 8.5 minutes. Very patient, keeping their shape, knocking it around. Fleeting takes a spill, goes to Solo. The U.S. is certainly missing some star players that would normally be starting. Milbrit, Fawcett, Allie Wagner, and Kat Reddick, 2 other young starters who are with their college teams right now, and you see a couple injuries as well, preventing a fully loaded U.S. team from being here. But even a U.S. team at half strength is pretty darn powerful in the world rankings. Parlow, nice low tackle. That'll stay with Scotland. Parlow's Atlanta beat, not able to get back to the WUSA championship game, which was won this year by Carolina and captained by Tiffany Roberts, who's number 5 today out on the field. She was a longtime member of the U.S. women's national team. Here she is on the ball, and really kind of fell out of favor early on when April Heinrichs took over, but has really won back a spot.
And a lot of that has to do with the system that the U.S. is playing now. They're playing with a diamond in the midfield, and that's the system that the Carolina Courage played for the WUSA, so she really helped her to be in a role that she was familiar with and played all season long. But she's just real scrappy and has really come onto her game through her, just match repetition in the WUSA. So we're really seeing the league developing players or bringing players back on their games. Another
Parlow,
example,
yeah, looking for Lily.
Sorry, Rob.
Exactly.
Yeah, Brianna Scurry is another example of a player who was with them in the mix, as we all know, and now she's back on top of her game.
This portion of the match brought to you by Phillips. Bry will be on in the second half, probably right at halftime. She played 45 minutes in the U.S. women's last game, that in Minnesota. Here's Parlow with the chance. Wide open, gets by one. Oh, kudos to Gemma Fay. Nice stop by the keeper there. Gemma Fay, her 44th appearance for the Scottish women's national team.
Well, on this last play, this last attack by the U.S., here's Parlow coming in. She tries to pass it around the keeper there, and Fay comes up big. Nice move here at the top of the box by some time. Really what we saw was the Scotland defense kind of chasing the ball. It was the parting of the Red Sea, and she had a ton of space at the top of the box. Scotland's got to tighten that up, otherwise the U.S. is going to be pouring in goals.
Foudy over the top looking for Hamm again. It's Fay off her line. Michelle Barr finds Grant. Poor ball, easily intercepted by Foudy. Lily, Foudy runs off of it. Through ball, finds Parlow again, another chance. And she hammers that one home, 1-0 U.S. Her 49th international goal and 3rd this year, Cindy Parlow in the 12th minute has the States up 1-0.
Here's a beautiful ball here. That's Julie Foudy. She's making her run in the box. Watch her. She's continuing her play. So Parlow's got options, but she looks up, beats the keeper near post. Beautiful near post shot. Back of the net. Parlow had options. The keeper had to make decisions. Again, Foudy starts it. Look at her continue her run. Finds Parlow in the box. She looks up, sees that she's got some options, but she's also got the near post. And this is the last look here from our Phillips goal cam.
Well, keeper Gemma Fay had a solid opening minutes, but you can't allow those near posts.
Scored by number 12, Cindy Parlow.
Parlow has really been on a tear this year. She came into the game just 1 point shy of Julie Foudy. As far as career U.S. points are concerned, Foudy is no longer number 7 on the career U.S. points. It is now Cindy Parlow with 121 career U.S. points.
The assist goes to number 13, Christine Lilly.
I think we say this about Cindy Parlow almost every game, Wendy, that you forget just how young Cindy is. You look at all the appearances she's had, all the goals. She's going to be around still for a long, long time.
You would definitely imagine. I would say the only thing with Cindy is that she's just battled a lot of injuries, and it's going to be whether or not her body's able to hold up. The schedule that these guys are keeping with the league and now trying to qualify for the World Cup is so rigorous. They really have no downtime, so it's just going to be a matter of her professionally monitoring her body, but she's playing really, really well. It's great to see.
Just 24 years of age. This is her 108th game. She got in kind of at the right time when the U.S. women's national team was playing a ton of games every year, but now with the WUSA, their load will certainly, and already has been, lightened. Nice one-time ball from Fair to Foudy. Here's Parlow. That one cleaned away from her. Thori Bryan settles it to Chastain. Benson, long ball. We've seen this a lot lately from the U.S. Hooks up with Parlow. Cuts right, poked away. Scotland not getting beat too often in those 1v1 situations.
Well, so far it's been pretty impressive, but number 2, Shelley Kerr, is down now. Looks like she's adjusting something. And she's the player that their coach had told us to keep an eye on. She's got a big matchup against Parlow because she's physical, got good size, but she's down right now. We'll keep an eye on her.
She's their oldest player, just shy of her 33rd birthday, which comes in October. A mother in Scotland with 1 child. Aggressive player. And we were told she's really looking forward to taking on Cindy Parlow 1v1. Maybe she's had enough after almost 15 minutes. Lori Fair today celebrating her 100th cap, her 100th appearance with the U.S. women's national team. It's just the 14th time a U.S. women's national player has hit 100 caps. She's the second youngest to do it for the country.
Great statement there, Lori Fair. She's got a great game. There's her mom and her sister, her twin sister, Ronnie Fair, here to celebrate with her.
She debuted back in February of '96 versus Norway. Played her college ball at the University of North Carolina, won a couple national titles there as well. So Scotland playing a woman down right now. Donna James loses it. Jenny Benson will take the throw in. Benson from the University of Nebraska plays for the Philadelphia Charge right now. Chastain switches fields. Sombrero. Again going over the top. Here's Mia Hamm.
What a ball, just dropping it down into the corner.
By one. Deflected service and cleared out there by Grant. Right to Fair. Puts it back in the mixer. No issues for Faye. This portion of the match brought to you by Chevrolet. Scotland back at full strength as Shelley Kerr comes back on. And here she is serving one. Fleeting flicks it on. Finds Joanne Love. Chastain back to Hope Solo. Hope Solo won the Nordic Cup with the under-21 women's national team. This is her 5th appearance this year for the 21-year-old keeper. Chastain 4 goals this season for the San Jose Cyber Rays. Found herself playing a little more forward this year in the WSA than in past years. Of course, she began her career playing up top.
Right, back in '91, she was a front runner, but she's a very versatile player. She can really play anywhere on the field.
Foudy, hesitation, head up, looking for help. Oh, the little med, we love it. Gets by another one and earns the corner. Second corner of the game for the U.S. This Thursday, MLS season continues here on ESPN2. Mamadou Diallo and Clint Mathis. And the Metro Stars host Bobby Convey and DC United, 7:30 Eastern, the MLS on ESPN2. Again, 7:30 Eastern live as the playoff hunt continues in Major League Soccer. Lilly, the service, drills it far post. Chastain goes up, wins it right across the box, and calmly headed out for another corner kick for the States.
Well, Chastain put that ball exactly where she needed to, back across the face of the net. She didn't have a chance to actually finish. It was too far wide. Beautifully played. The U.S. didn't have any players following up on that header, but another dangerous chance here. You got to keep your eye on Parlow. You got to figure Parlow and Chastain on the back post. Both great targets in the air.
Again, Lilly the service. This one out a little deeper. Again, Chastain heads it. Foudy run over in the box, play on. Lilly wins it, flicks it. Bumped off, play on, she gets it again. U.S. Lilly, cleared off the line. By Love, I believe. What presence to crack that one time by Christine Lilly.
Nice chance here by, actually the ball comes out. Here's a header to set up. Lilly's volley, just turns, spins, shoots. And actually, Joanne Love comes up big. She stays on her post. She's right where she needs to be.
Mia Hamm with the service. Near post, cleared out. That's McWhinnie. Pops it up, throw in for the States. Back to Benson. Finds Foudy. Lilly. Deflected and cleared. Donna James can't settle it. Ball goes back to the States. Chastain with a quick throw in. Hamm wide open. Lilly runs off of it. Parlow using her body to shield the ball, then gets bumped off of it. Nice step up by Tiffany Roberts. Foudy to Fair. Look at Sombrero making the run, and they use her. Number 15, Kate Sombrero down the right side. Again, 1v1 defense. Scotland holding their own. This portion of the match brought to you by Kit Kat. Roberts broken up, and a foul on the play. She fouls Artie Gilmore.
Tiffany Roberts always brings a lot of passion to her game, and here you see her scrap, and the touch gets away from her. She wants to win it back, and she gets called for the foul.
1 goal, 4 assists this year for Tiffany Roberts with the Carolina Courage. A veteran of the 95-99 Women's World Cup team and the 96 Olympic gold medal squad.
Quite a resume.
Not bad. Trying to make that 2003 roster for China. Fair to Lily. Foudy trying to find Hamm, but it's broken up by Barr, who just sends it deep back into the U.S. box. Good representation across the board from the WUSA here on the U.S. women's national team. Boston leads all players with 4. Lily and Sobrero, the linchpins of that foursome.
We should point out Carolina only has 1 here. That's Tiffany Roberts, but both Slate and Fotopoulos were invited in, but they couldn't come in due to injury. Didn't want people to wonder why they won the league with only one player that could play at this level. They were well represented if they were healthy.
Worst to first turnaround for Carolina Courage, and they play their home ball in Cary, North Carolina, which is where we will be with the U.S. women's national team in early October. October 2nd and 6th, a Wednesday and a Sunday, as the U.S. plays their final 2 games of the Nike U.S. Women's Cup versus Australia and Italy. Looking forward to that trip. I've never been down there. I've heard great things about that facility and that stadium in particular.
It is a great complex. 7,500 people is full capacity. It's great because you're right down on the field. And Castle, the local club, and SAS have come together with a great combination. Of course, the home of the Carolina Courage.
Great soccer country down there. Chastain, Parlow looking for 2 over the bar. We are at Crew Stadium here in Columbus, Ohio for the first ever meeting between the U.S. and Scotland in women's international soccer. The States with a 1-0 lead courtesy of a Cindy Parlow goal in the 12th minute alongside Wendy Gabarro-Palladino. I'm Rob Stone. Glad you're here with us on a very warm, muggy, clear afternoon in central Ohio. U.S. wearing the white tops, blue shorts, Scotland in the blue jerseys. Scotland, a young, up-and-coming European soccer nation in women's soccer. Julie Foudy tried to connect with Hamm. That one off target. Thori Bryant. Gave McWhinnie nowhere to go. Bryan and Fleeting in a race off of Bryan. Thori Bryant, a North Carolina State alum. 0 points this year for the San Jose squad, but has really impressed April Heinrichs lately.
Played every minute of every game. She's one of these players who's just, the only thing that might be holding her back at this level is just her touch on the ball, and she's been working hard on that, but her athleticism is second to none. Forget it if you get in a foot race with her.
There is a lot of depth, though, at that central defensive position for the U.S. women's national team. Joy Fawcett not here. And there's a good look at Thori Bryant. We're joined now on the field by U.S. women's head coach April Heinrichs. And, Coach, you told us this morning you really wanted to get after Scotland in the opening 5 minutes. Well, how was your team done in the opening 24+?
Pleased with our ability to possess the ball and some of the creativity that we've demonstrated. We've lacked patience in the possession at times and a crispness in the change of field. We've had some great changes of field, but then the ball is sloppy or it's too square, and now Scotland's able to recover.
April, you talked about wanting to make sure that you were accelerating the pace that you guys are playing with. You happy with that so far?
Yeah, speed of play is pretty good. It's getting caught. It's very sticky and muggy out here, so it's getting caught underneath of us. But for the most part, there's been some really nice little combinations and 1- and 2-touch ball and great movement off the ball.
Cindy Parlow continuing where she left off versus Norway. Talk to me about her play.
Yeah, Cindy's, these are one of these games where there's 5 players around Cindy, so it's difficult for her, and we're just going to ask her to be a playmaker and a finisher. And you'll see her with her back to pressure, receiving the ball, making good decisions to lay off of it, and then when we get in the flank, hopefully she'll get on the end of another one of these and finish it.
Coach, thanks for your time. We appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thanks.
There's Jenny Benson off the free kick down the left side, floats it far post. Lori Fair trying to win it. Shielded off the ball by Gilmore. Fair goes down. Gilmore still has it. Blocked by Fair. Throw in deep for Scotland. And the U.S. kind of locking things down right here on this throw-in. Not a lot of Scottish options.
You know, April mentioned how hot and muggy it is out, and that is definitely going to be a problem, I think, for Scotland, especially in the second half. So far, they're hanging in there, and I think that's really a sign of what we heard from Coach Gervais. He said they were a very disciplined team. They didn't give up. I mean, they only gave up one goal in their qualifiers, and they're a very disciplined team. They're not getting much on the attack because this is obviously a very strong U.S. team, but they're hanging in there defensively.
Last 3 qualifiers for Scotland, 11 goals for, just 1 against. Lily goes up, skims off her head. That'll be a throw-in for the Scottish. This portion of the match brought to you by Lego. There's Christine Lilly, was not with us at the U.S. women's national team's last game. Her club team, the Boston Breakers, fighting for a playoff spot, requested to keep her home. And they still lost that game, if I'm not mistaken.
And again, I think that gave, you know, obviously, we'll come back to that 1 second.
Here's Lily, offside position.
You know, we're missing some players here at this game, Milbrin and Fawcett, as far as starters go, and actually, of course, Slayton, and you know, April's missing some key players, but it allows her to really, you know, dig into the depth of her squad and to look at players like a Jenny Benson, bring Thori Bryan back into the mix, Kate Sobrera getting a start again. So really, you know, we're seeing a lot of depth, and that's what makes this game so great. And I think we're really seeing the development of the WUSA in these players. They're really coming onto their games. They're developing new talent as well as other players, like we mentioned with Roberts and Scurry and Thori Bryan, coming back on top of their games.
The U.S. using today's game and the upcoming Nike U.S. Women's Cup as preparation for the 2003 CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup, which is basically World Cup qualifying tournament for this region. We'll look at that schedule at halftime, but play begins in late October, all on the West Coast. The U.S. with games at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena and Fullerton at Titan Stadium, Seattle, Washington at Safeco Field as well. Again, the long ball, and again, Hamm with time to settle. Not so much time, apparently, as Shelley Kerr comes in low, earns the whistle. Quick restart, Lily in the box. Serves it, far post, Fair. Trying for a goal on her 100th appearance for the U.S. Sunday night, ESPN helps welcome the NFL back to Houston as #1 overall draft pick QB David Carr and the Houston Texans welcome Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys to town. See the first ever game in the history of the Texans and the first game at Reliant Stadium. Coverage will begin tonight with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern, ESPN and ABC, your exclusive home primetime football. This portion of the match brought to you by Nike. Chastain finds Roberts, plays it back to Bryan. Long ball, too tall for Cindy Parlow in her 5'11" frame. Here's Parlow. One time's at Hamm. Back heel. Nobody there. Nikki Grant corrals it for Scotland.
Foudy was making a great run in. She got deep into the box, really committing to the attack to try and put another player in the box, but the U.S. didn't have another midfielder trailing in that position. Good thought by Hamm. She was under some pressure.
Give credit to Scotland, too. A goal in the 12th minute. They did not collapse. We've seen a lot of countries, especially young ones, playing against this awesome opponent that is the U.S. women's national team, really kind of fold and give in the game. I mean, the U.S. just hammered Norway the last time in Minnesota. Norway really wilted under the pressure and the heat. But Scotland is hanging tough. I'm impressed with them early.
Of course, we heard they were coming out in a 3-4-3, but they've got a lot of players back on the defense, and I would say they made a good adjustment after Parlow got in on that one chance that she didn't score on, where she tried to pass it around Faye. It really was the defense was doing a lot of ball watching and chasing, but they've really tightened it up and are putting a lot of good pressure on. Like Rob, you said, they're shutting down the 1v1s.
There's Michelle Barr. Willing to bet there's going to be a lot of Scottish women's players going back home with some sunburns.
I would say, not only that, the rumor was they trained twice yesterday. So again, fatigue has got to be an issue. And they traveled in 2 nights ago, so they didn't get here with much adjustment, and they're actually leaving on Monday as well. So.
And yep, they leave tomorrow at tea time.
Tea time.
I love that.
Now, is that teeing off for golf? Or?
No, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, well, you're going to miss your tea time if you're leaving. Lily, service. Parlow trying to curl back to get it. Couldn't quite latch onto it. Chastain, good hustle to get in position. Chastain settles. That one off the side of her boot. That'll go for a goal kick for Scotland. Take a look at the U.S. women's bench and who's going to be available to come into the bench. Brianna Scurry, Jenna Klugel, Shannon McMillan, who's had just a tremendous year for the U.S. women's national team. Angela Huclis, Abby Wambach, powerful forward, rookie of the year in the WUSA. Heather Mitz, a local product from Cincinnati, Ohio, and Kelly Lindsay, defender from San Jose, who played her college ball at Notre Dame. A lot of horses still in the stable for the U.S. This portion of the match brought to you by Avaya. Good hustle there by Fair to win that ball back as she poked that one away from Gilmore. Here comes the U.S. on the attack again. See, maybe just a step slow on that final third or so.
Come on!
You hear that fan cheering for Mia?
Actually, I think that was Tony Gervas, the head coach of Scotland. He's working his team right now. And if that team's going to work, he's got to get his players to get the ball to Julie Fleeting a little bit more than she's been seeing it lately. Number 10 for Scotland, wearing the armband, plays for the San Diego Spirit, a tremendous talent.
And another target, we pointed out earlier, Stacey Cook, number 3. She's making looks like she's making a near post run on this free kick.
Short chip. Scotland to equalize. Solo can't get the second one. We're tied at ones. Julie Fleeting, her 74th international netter, and that is not a typo. It is 1-1.
We talked about Cook making a near post run, number 3. She's in the mix there. Ball goes by. Look at this great save by Hope Solo. Nobody drops back to cover behind Hope as she makes her first save, and Scotland nets it. It's Fleeting. We knew she'd be tough on the attack, and she gets one, sticks it in the back of the net. The U.S. defense just looked a little bit complacent. They expected Hope to hang on to it.
But just like that, Mia Hamm puts the stakes back on top. Hamm from Lily in the 34th minute.
Wow, can you say counterattack? Putting a statement on that defensive mistake on the other end.
Her 131st international goal, Mia Hamm.
And this is a great counterattack by the U.S. right from the kickoff. Ball goes down end line. Coming across, beautiful ball into the seam. And there's Mia Hamm just finishing it to the near post. Again, beautiful ball from Christine Lilly into the seam. And the U.S. has an answer for a defensive mistake on the other end.
That, though, definitely a soft goal.
Well, so many times we see teams are so vulnerable just after they've scored a goal. Defensively, they don't button it up, and they're excited, they're cheering, and the U.S. didn't want to have any part of that. They came right back down and had an answer.
Wake-up call, without a doubt.
USA goal scored by number 9, Mia Hamm.
Lily with 2 assists today already. Parlow and Hamm, the goal scorers for the States. Chastain back in defense. Fleeting trying to curl by her. Chastain cuts off her angle. Fleeting, good hustle to get to that. And boom, it's 2-2 again. Sloppy play by the U.S. Scotland, tremendous hustle. Debbie McWhinnie puts it in. 3 goals in about 2 minutes.
Here's Brandi Chastain in a foot race with Fleeting. Fleeting makes a desperation, beautiful slide, comes across. Hope Solo commits. Maybe she should have stayed on her line there. Looks like Cabrera had the defensive player covered, had the attacker covered. Another look at it there. And that's McWhinnie coming in for the goal-scoring opportunity. Sticks it in the back of the net.
Hamm bumped off the ball. Debbie McWhinnie to tie it at 2, her second international goal. And our first yellow card of the game goes to Scotland. Now, April Heinrichs is not going to be pleased with this at all. That's 2 goals too many this game in her book.
Too quickly as well.
Goals by Scotland in the 33rd and 36th minute. This is uncharacteristic U.S. soccer. Chastain right at the keeper.
Scotland goal scored by number 11, Debbie McWhinnie. She's assisted by number 10, Julie Fleeting. The goal comes in the 36th.
Great hustle by Fleeting to earn that assist. Making something out of nothing, and give McWhinnie credit. Hard run, she followed through going to that near post.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following team has selected to take part in today's Hamm shootout. Your chance to win the official U.S. Women's National Team Award.
And Wendy, on that goal, do you blame Hope Solo?
It looked to me like Cabrera had that player covered. Hope kind of committed into a space where if she didn't win it, she was in big trouble, and that's what happened. So it looked to me like maybe she overcommitted on that near post.
Yeah, pressure may be hitting her right now.
Well, she has been put under pressure, and that's exactly what April Heinrichs wanted to see. Again, a developmental decision to start her. And with this young Scotland team, young inexperienced Scotland team, wasn't really sure whether or not it was going to, give her the opportunity to see Hope under some pressure. But she has seen her under pressure, and on that first goal, I thought she made a great save.
Absolutely.
She just didn't have the defense back to cover for her.
Yeah, defense needs to be there to clear that one out. You can't falter on that one. That second one, you come off that line, you have got to win the ball or clear out the player.
Well, the other thing I didn't see from up here was any other players on defense except for Cabrera. I'm wondering where Thori Bryan was and Jenny Benson as well. Maybe they're getting caught up out of shape. The key to this defensive 4-man line is shape. And it looks like they're just playing a little disjointed right now.
Remember, they are playing without Joy Fawcett and Kat Reddick, 2 probably definite starters for the U.S. women's national team on that back line.
And Danielle Slayton as well.
And this portion of the match brought to you by Bud Light. We are tied at 2s. Parlow and Hamm for the States, Fleeting and McWhinnie for Scotland. This crowd is a little bit taken aback. They're not used to seeing the U.S. give up 2 goals. We're not used to seeing it. Chastain just drills it wide. It goes right back to Scotland. Service. Fleeting attacks it, but it's Chastain who wins it with a powerful header to Parlow. Scotland content to let the U.S. build it up to just shy of midfield. There's some good one-time balls from the U.S. Miscommunication between Hamm and Benson. Scotland takes over.
You can't allow them to walk off without giving instruction. Nice with that 2v1. Deeper shovel. Deeper.
Rob, I'm trying to understand what he's saying.
I don't know.
I can
is that
sort of
English?
elaborate on it, but I can't make it out.
Well, he's got emotion. Just the interim head coach had been Scotland's assistant as they progressed through World Cup qualifying. Lily in pursuit, forces the back pass to Faye. Faye, the keeper, looks solid at the beginning, but has given up 2 questionable goals, and she may be rattled as well. Chastain again steps up to win it, heads it right back to Scotland deep.
You can see the U.S. is starting their restraining line right here. Missed it there at the top of the circle there. That's where they're starting to pressure. And when the ball comes into that space, they're all over it, trying to provide numbers up on defense.
This portion of the match brought to you by Phillips. Here's Shelley Kerr on the right side. Hamm in pursuit. Kerr long ball. Too tall. Chastain again wins it with her head right to Foudy. Drops it back. Tiffany Roberts. Sliding tackle from behind. Joanne Love does not get away with it.
Defend Julie Smith.
Coming up at halftime, highlights from the U.S. Women's Under-19 title game in the U19 World Championships versus Canada. We'll have a real nice piece honoring September 11th as well come up at halftime. Lily! Oh, what a rocket, just goes wide. Almost a goal to go with her 2 assists today.
Boy, when she gets a half chance, she unleashes it. This is a lesson to the kids at home watching. Look at her, just a quick half chance, rockets it, keeps it down, keeps over the ball, and it just goes wide. There would be no saving that if it was on the face of the goal.
Second time we've seen kind of that quick volley from Lily today, both times just off target. Tiffany Roberts spins away from one, drops it back to Jenny Benson. Lily, difficult to handle. Scotland takes over, a little hesitation by Love, stolen by Roberts to Foudy. Foudy chips it, Roberts continues her run, wins it, collision off Roberts, that should be a goal kick for Scotland.
I just love seeing Tiffany Roberts back on the top of her game, and look at this presence here. She's got a lot of fitness, makes a commitment and run into the box. Just goes down trying to sneak it by Faye. But Roberts is playing so well. She's starting the attack. She's playing great defense. She's starting the attack. She's continuing her run into the box, trying to provide numbers up for the U.S. on attack.
And she's playing that defensive role in that diamond midfield formation for the States. An impressive run, especially in these conditions. This Thursday over on ESPN2, the MLS season continues to wind down as they head up for the playoffs. The Metro Stars are in right now. DC United is out. Big Mama, Mamadou Diallo, Clint Mathis and company as the Metro Stars take on DC United. It's the MLS on ESPN2. For more soccer information, log on to soccernet.com. Donna James. Scotland switches fields to Michelle Barr. Parlow in pursuit. Barr back to Faye. First half winding down here at Crew Stadium. Scotland has played much better than I think anyone here imagined or envisioned. A rapidly improving European side.
They've scored a goal on a set piece, which the U.S. didn't cover back well enough on, and also the U.S. gave up a foul in a very dangerous area, especially when you've got players like Cook and Fleeting who can really finish well. And then, of course, the other one was just looked like a goalie mistake from up here by Hope Sola, coming out, committing too much, and the defense again wasn't getting back to help out.
1 minute of stoppage time will be added on to this first half. U.S. trying to kick up the pressure. Hamm almost wins it from Kerr. Forced to play it back. Faye just drills it to midfield.
She's very composed with her feet, Faye is.
Benson wins it, goes back to the blue of Scotland.
Stoppage time has been added to the first half. A reminder that the referee keeps the
I want to remind you at halftime highlights of the U.S. Women's U19 World Championship title game. And a September 11th remembrance piece. Remember, the U.S. Women's National Team was here in Columbus on September 11th. The game that was eventually canceled. Lily. Sobrero. Tiffany Roberts. Back to Chastain. Broken up. Donna James. 2v1 has Fleeting. Uses Fleeting. Solo hesitates. Fleeting all alone for the lead. Just wide. Are you kidding me? Scotland that close to going up, going into the locker room. This USD is not their usual selves today.
Here's the through ball here. Looked like Thori Bryan should have done whatever she could to get something on that to keep Fleeting from making that through run there, or keeping the ball from getting to her. Initially, it looked like Hope Solo was going to come out and win it, and she stayed back. Man, what a great chance by Scotland.
Scotland has taken it to the U.S. and earned their respect early. Christine Lilly with 2 assists. Mia Hamm a goal, ditto for Cindy Parlow. But it's Scotland with 2 goals late, and we are tied at 2s. Coming up, the U.S. women won the '99 Women's World Cup. How does the future look? Looks pretty bright. We'll have highlights from the U19 championship game.
is a proud sponsor of the U.S. soccer teams.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me on a piece of that big cat bar. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me on a piece of that big cat bar.
Next time you're on the road and you need to fill your tank, here's something to consider. New Shell gasoline is specially formulated to help prevent deposit buildup in your engine, which helps keep it clean. And a clean engine performs better, which is why when they're looking for more from their gasoline, so many drivers choose Shell.
You know that thrill you get when you're scorching the turf, taking on the world to bring home the cup? There's always a first time. You can get into the newest Lego soccer sets. Now the action's kicked up to a whole new level. So with Lego, when you make it, you feel it. New Lego Soccer. Lego is a proud sponsor of the U.S. men's national soccer team.
Millions of meters of network cable, 40,000 voice and data connections. One of the world's largest converged networks, handling as much voice and data in 1 month as many companies do in a year. A network for the biggest sporting event on Earth. And who built it? Avaya. Connecting the FIFA World Cup.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Let's play The Stranger.
Okay.
When someone gets home tonight, someone should be wearing a naughty French maid's outfit, a blonde wig, and holding a 6-pack of Bud Light.
Me like you, the stranger. Oh, you...
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Wow, hello, stranger.
Make it a Bud Light.
Glad you're with us back in Columbus, Ohio. We're at halftime between the U.S. women and Scotland. The future of the U.S. women's national soccer program should be just as bright as the present. Witness the U.S. under-19 team taking on the host team, Canada, in front of over 47,000 fans in the championship game of the World Championships for the U19 women. This one scoreless. in overtime. Golden goal in the 19th minute of overtime, courtesy of Lindsay Tarpley, as the U.S. wins the inaugural U19 World Championship. Our Lego Stars of Tomorrow profiles the game's goal scorer. Lindsay Tarpley plays her college ball at the University of North Carolina, had 6 goals in 6 games as the U.S. outscored their opponents 26-2. Up next for the full U.S. women's national team, it's the Nike U.S. Women's Cup. 3 games, Russia, Australia, Italy. Those last 2 live on ESPN2, coming to you from Cary, North Carolina. That's all to get them set for the CONCACAF Gold Cup, which will serve as their qualifying tournament for the 2003 World Cup. Mexico, Trinidad, Tobago, Panama, all those games out on the West Coast.
Just hearing it unfold and hearing the news, you just wanted to be with somebody. And then just the day, it just made what we were there for just so irrelevant, you know, and unimportant. And everyone just wanted to, you know, make contact with their families and their loved ones at home.
Electronics, proud sponsor of the U.S. men's and women's soccer teams.
Depend on cars that last. Chevy will be there.
Next time you're on the road and you need to fill your tank, here's something to consider. New Shell gasoline is specially formulated to help prevent deposit buildup in your engine, which helps keep it clean. And a clean engine performs better, which is why when they're looking for more from their gasoline, so many drivers choose Shell.
Our premiere episode, Greg Kinnear goes to Africa and he shoots a rhino with a dart.
A dart? Where'd you shoot this rhino? In an English pub? What'd you run out of spitballs?
The greatest outdoor show ever is back. New American Sportsman premieres Monday at 8 on ESPN2.
Growing up here in Texas, at times it was tough. Dad died when I was 3. Yet thanks to Texas teachers, I received a great public school education. To better educate our children, we've got to keep raising our standards and hold on to our good teachers by paying them more and giving them a lot less paperwork. You know, some people just talk about education, but for me, I know that improving education means opportunity for all.
David Dewhurst for Lieutenant Governor.
Everyone is reading the Round Rock Leader. For more than 124 years, the Round Rock Leader newspaper has recognized, reported, and celebrated all that's special about the community. The Round Rock Leader delivers the news that affects you, your family, and your friends. Call 255-5827 for subscription information. The Round Rock Leader, community news first.
Follow the leader. And we're back in Central Ohio. Halftime between the U.S. women and Scotland. The U.S. women's soccer family was here in Columbus, Ohio last year when terrorism attacked our country, and it's here that the unfortunate memories that will last a lifetime began.
That day, I was rooming with Heather Mitz. We woke up, and for some reason, we don't usually turn the TV on before breakfast. She had the TV on, and I come out of the bathroom, and she's like, "Oh my God, look at, the television. This is unbelievable."
It's just really hard to believe, and then going to breakfast and everyone just, getting updates and wanting to just be together, and not really want to go back to your room and be by yourself.
When we found out the game was canceled, you know, April said, let's get everyone to go home.
I don't fly well as it is, and then after hearing about that, I was like, it's not worth it. I'm not getting on a flight. And I just remember looking over at Joy, and she just was like, I'll drive with you. You know, and it almost made me start crying, because I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. She's like, let's get a car. We got a minivan that was packed with myself, Joy, 2 of her kids, and Jamie Pagliarulo, and a nanny. And I mean, there was just no room.
We didn't even sleep. I mean, like, stop. We didn't even stop to eat, to get out of the car, and even just sit, like, and eat. We drove through, grabbed food, you know, and ate along the road and watched a million movies. The kids were kind of oblivious to it all, you know. Didn't really want them listening to it. So they were in the back, and in the front we had the news on and kind of kept the updates going as to what was happening. And, you know, just glad we were driving. You know, after hearing all the different things going on, you know, just glad that we were driving and, you know, that you had someone to do it with.
You know that thrill you get when you're scorching the turf, taking on the world to bring home the cup? There's always a first time. You can get into the newest Lego soccer sets. Now the action's kicked up to a whole new level. So with Lego, when you make it, you feel it. New Lego Soccer. Lego is a proud sponsor of the U.S. men's national soccer team.
Millions of meters of network cable, 40,000 voice and data connections. One of the world's largest converged networks, handling as much voice and data in 1 month as many companies do in a year. A network for the biggest sporting event on Earth. And who built it? Avaya. Connecting the FIFA World Cup.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Let's play The Stranger.
Okay.
When someone gets home tonight, someone should be wearing a naughty French maid's outfit, a blonde wig, and holding a 6-pack of Bud Light.
Me like you, the stranger. Oh, you...
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
Wow, hello, stranger.
Make it a Bud Light.
Kit Kat, Big Cat. Thicker, bigger, crunchier. Is your mouth ready?
The U.S. has 5 corner kicks, Scotland 0. The U.S. out-shooting Scotland 12-4, but the scoreline is even. That's right, 2-2 here at halftime at Crew Stadium. Welcome back to ESPN's live coverage alongside Wendy Gebauer, Palladino. I'm Rob Stone. Hey, let's be honest, this is not the scoreline we accepted or expected at this stage.
Absolutely. I mean, I think everybody expected a very inexperienced Scotland team to come in and the U.S. was just going to roll over them. But let me tell you, their presence in the back has kept the U.S. from scoring a lot of goals, and they've made the best of their chances up top.
The U.S., though, did get going and on the board first, courtesy of Cindy Parlow.
Foudy was the player actually who started this. You could hear Parlow there call out for the ball. She looks up, heads up. She sees she's got the near post, beats Faye near post, but Scotland is dangerous on free kicks. Here's a first chance there. Hope Sol will make great save, but no defense covering for her. And there's Fleeting. We knew she'd be dangerous, but literally on the kickoff, Lily takes it down, finds the near post seam. Mia Hamm back of the net, and it's 2-1. And here again, a ball across. Hope Solo committing. Sabera trying to keep McWhinnie from scoring, but she can't keep it out of the back of the net.
Those last 3 goals came within a 3-minute span, and we are tied at 2s between Scotland and the U.S. Second half kick when we come back to...
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. give me a break. Break me on a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break, give me a break. Break me on a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Next time you're on the road and you need to fill your tank, here's something to consider. New Shell gasoline is specially formulated to help prevent deposit buildup in your engine, which helps keep it clean. And a clean engine performs better, which is why when they're looking for more from their gasoline, so many drivers choose Shell.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Let's play The Stranger.
Okay.
When someone gets home tonight, someone should be wearing a naughty French maid's outfit, a blonde wig, and holding a six-pack of Bud Light.
Me like you, the stranger. Oh, you...
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
Wow, hello, stranger.
Make it a Bud Light.
Give me a break, give me a break. Break me on a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break, give me a break. Break me on a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Texas has a new rivalry.
Let's go beat these suckers up.
The boys against the Texans.
He's got a blocker to 30, 35.
We've waited all year for this. NFL kickoff weekend continues tonight at 8:30 on ESPN.
For a sports report that hits a little harder, runs a little faster, and is a whole lot easier to catch, watch the Charles Mont Toyota Sports Report on News 8 Austin.
Back to the state tournament, 4-0 lead.
Local sports in the right place at the right time.
Could the drivers get that second groove into it?
7 days a week, 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. at 22 after. News 8 Austin, your home for local sports. Brought to you by Charles Mont Toyota, the only family-owned and operated Toyota dealership in Austin.
Lifetime knows what women want, and our new network, Lifetime Real Women, delivers more of it with movies inspired by actual events.
I want those kids at every meeting so you can see just exactly who it is you're poisoning.
The power of true stories.
I bring my kid to you people for help, and all you do is make them sicker.
Lifetime Real Women, a new network from Lifetime. No one knows the world of women better.
Lifetime Real Women, coming soon to digital cable from Time Warner.
Today's match is brought to you by Kit Kat. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. By Bud Light, official beer of the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. And by Shell. Count on Shell. And we're back in Columbus, and the second half underway. Scotland and the U.S. tied at 2.
Abby Wambach into the game,
U.S.
replacing
coming
number
out of the
12,
gate
Parlow.
charging.
No substitutions for Scotland.
Fair. 0 substitutions for Scotland, but wholesale subs for the United States. 4 different substitutions. We'll get to them in a moment. There is one of them, Angela Hucles, playing a left midfield role right now. Lori Fair. There's Abby Wambach, another new player in for Cindy Parlow. Turns, crosses, looking for Hamm, can't quite connect. There's another new player, number 20, Kelly Lindsay, playing the central defense with Brandy Chastain, steps up. And the final one in the cage, Brianna Scurry, her second appearance this year for the U.S. Women's National Team.
Well, some great stories for some of these new faces in this second half for the U.S. Not necessarily new faces, but new faces on the field.
Dangerous attempt. Scurry comes off, can't quite play with her hands at that point, but calm, composed, settles and gets it to Chastain. But again, a little flaw there in the U.S. defense, that ball even getting through there.
Well, Brianna Scurry was going to make sure that she came out and did what she had to do. And one thing I wanted to point out about her is that she came in pretty much at a field player fitness level. She did 120s and absolutely rocked. And so she has, again, made such a huge commitment to bringing herself back into this role. There was no doubt that she emerged in the eyes of the coaching staff as the top keeper for this U.S. squad right now. Even though Hope got the start, Brianna Scurry looks like she's going to be the top keeper for the U.S. right now.
Here's Hamm to her WUSA teammate Abby Wambach. Her first touch goes down. Benson cuts, serves. Abby Wambach, boom, 3-2 U.S. That's why she's in this game. She is a force to be reckoned with in the box.
Abby Wambach.
Of course, it started with the commitment from Jenny Benson coming down the left-hand side. Jenny Benson all year long for Philadelphia was a player that got into the attack. She's got a great left-footed serve. Look at her, taking some time that she needs. Finds Wambach in the seam. There's Wambach making a run. Coach Heinrichs replaced size with size and great presence in the air, taking Parlow out and putting Wambach in. Here's a look from our Phillips goal cam. That's Abby Wambach making a great run down the seam and finding the back of the net. And it looked like she also found Scotland just on their heels. The defense did not have an answer for her coming through that box.
Her second goal in her 4th U.S. Women's National Team appearance. Abby Wambach has the U.S. back on top and early. That has to somewhat turn April Heinrich's frown upside down. This probably won't please her so much, though, that again, there's a hint of confusion in the back for the U.S. Chastain, Hucles. Benson, intended for the goal scorer, Wambach. The WUSA Rookie of the Year for the Washington Freedom. Abby Wambach played her collegiate ball at the University of Florida, was the #2 overall pick, finished the season with 29 points, 10 goals, 9 assists. Helped propel Washington to the WUSA title game, which they lost to the Carolina Courage.
And a bit surprising to see Parlow coming out at halftime because I thought she had a real solid first half. I thought Hamm struggled a bit in some of the fine-tuning elements of her game, but makes sense as well because Wambach and Hamm are familiar with each other from their WUSA season with the Washington Freedom.
This portion of the match brought to you by Bud Light. Mia Hamm onside, she beats the keep, but can't slide it by #3, Stacey Cook.
Great defensive organization by Scotland. Cook comes over as well. Nikki Grant had, or I'm sorry, Shelley Kerr had dropped back in support as well. So good defensive organization behind the keeper coming out.
Hamm the throw in. Wambach. Hard to bump her off that ball. Oh, nice little touch. Finds Hamm with a great run. Hamm, given time, right through the box. Nobody home at the PK spot. Scotland under pressure. The second half. Been interesting to hear April Heinrich's conversation with the team in the locker room. Here's Hamm, intercepts the poor back pass from a tight angle. Oh, Mia Hamm, her second of the day. 2 goals in the second half for the States. They're back on top by 2, 4-2.
And I ask you, how in the world she hit that ball with the inside of her left foot and spun it around with absolutely no angle. First thing she looked for was maybe a player in the box. Here's Hamm. Faye coming out, committing. Inside of her left foot, she has inches to spare, and she sticks it in the back of the net very coolly, very calm. Beautiful finish by Hamm. Absolutely beautiful.
Her 132nd international goal and second of the day. Mia Hamm is back. That coming in the 50th minute. 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of the second half for the red, white, and blue. Hamm is down on the field right now. She took a low shot, and Julie Foudy comes by to check out her teammate. The U.S. will play this out of bounds. Maybe her shoulder, which she has had some problems with in the past. Take a look at the foul that led to this.
Well, she was making a good challenge here on the ball, and Kerr comes in. And she goes down hard on her right shoulder, and it's either her right shoulder, which looks like she went down hard on it. Looks like she's all right. Well, she and Foudy are laughing down there. Leave it to Foudy to make her crack up, right?
I think those two about the only ones laughing on the U.S. bench. I tell you, April Heinrichs isn't giggling too much after that. See Mia's point total. Be willing to bet that after seeing that foul, and Mia come up very, very slow, that April might be a little quicker to go to the bench and get her off the field. She's been hit by injuries this season, really for the first time in her career, to a major extent at least.
And when you've got a Shannon McMillan on the bench waiting in the wings, that's some nice options.
It's a great option. This portion of the match brought to you by Shell. We'd also like to take a moment here to thank our friend Jack Huckle at the National Soccer Hall of Fame in Oneonta, New York, for allowing us access to the 1999 Women's World Cup trophy yesterday. The good folks at the Soccer Hall of Fame have another induction ceremony coming up in a matter of weeks. And there's going to be a lot of players who are on this field right now for the U.S. who will be enshrined in Oneonta, New York, eventually. Here's Gilmore. Takes a little bump from Wambach, but regains and then gets tripped up. And let's do a little kidney punch there from Lori Fair. We had some medical attention as the U.S. women's national team gets set for 2003 in China. Wendy, you were part of the Women's World Cup championship team in '91. Not to date you or anything, but
okay.
Tell me about that feeling and how much the women's soccer game has really progressed from that point.
Well, that was the beginning, and we really didn't know how huge it was at the time, but what a lot of people don't realize is we played in front of 60,000 plus fans in China, and the next time the crowd was that big was in Atlanta in '96, and I'll just continue on with the progression of probably what are regarded as the most important historical stepping stones or events in history for women's soccer for the U.S., and it's the '91 World Cup, the '96 Olympics, the '99 World Cup, and our U19 team. That you could see a piece at halftime there of their momentous first ever win, first ever World Championship for the U19s.
Over the top, Fleeting looking far post. Not a bad effort from the San Diego Spirit player. Again, Scotland still able to find some little creases in that U.S. defense.
Nice ball here by Cook. Right into Fleeting here, who finds some space. Looks to the far post. Brianna Scurry has it covered. But again, I agree with you, Rob. Just a little bit too much space back there. You've got 4 U.S. defenders. You can see them all in the picture there. And they're not shutting that player down.
Sombrero finds Fair. Wearing the armband today as captain. Stolen from her. Tries to win it back. Good work by Scotland in tight space. Foudy, Wambach got under that one, popped it up. Julie settles it, but drops it right to McWhinnie, who has had Scotland's second goal of the game. Again, we were tied up at 2s, but 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of the second stanza has the States back on top by 2 goals, 4-2. This portion of the match brought to you by Phillips.
Rob, just to spend a little more time on the U19's accomplishment, talking to Coach Heinrichs. Of course, I'm going to come back to this in 1 minute.
Mia Hamm looking for the hat trick by 1 in the box. She's not going to score this one. Abby Wambach looking for her second. Faye there to wrap it up. Mia Hamm has been very dangerous early on.
The system that the U.S. is playing lends itself so well to counterattacks, and that was a nice example of a counterattack there. Hamm gets in down the left side. You can see her head's on a spin. Look, she looks and sees, commits the defender, great explosion, looks up, sees Wambach in there, doesn't quite hit her. And actually, nice defensive play by Barr. Put some pressure on Wambach. But the U19s, April was saying that, and this is a tribute to how well the game is developing here in the U.S. for the women. 8 players on that U19 team came from the U14 national team program, and so they've matriculated out of that program, and her hopes, of course, are for some of those to continue on over the next 10 years and really make an impact at this level.
That is a really high number.
It is a high number because, you know, the statistics is typically a lot of players drop off. Although one thing I will point out is they had, I think it was 11 ACLs from that group of players. Of course, some of them had more than one had more than one. Amy Stedman redid her ACL, so that would represent 2. It's not 11 different players, but they still won it going that deep into their player pool. So this is a really special group of players coming out of that age group.
And there's a couple players on that U19 team that also, April kind of hinted to us this morning, may get called into that initial Nike U.S. Women's Cup camp, and who knows who's going to be able to stick around. I mean, some of those players are in high school.
Right, and a couple of them are, you know, reported to, 3 of them reported to UNC for their ball, so it may be an opportunity for her to pull them into, since they're going to be playing a couple of their games in Cary, North Carolina, to pull them into some training sessions and get them some experience at this next level. Tarpley's one of those players, one that April Heinrichs has mentioned a number of times.
And one we profiled at halftime in our Lego Future Stars of the game. Here's Gilmore. Dribbled that one out of bounds. Trying to work Kelly Lindsay, but that will be a corner kick. First of the game for Scotland. Scurry back in the nets for the U.S. women's national team. Had another solid year with the Atlanta Beat. Played 45 minutes in July versus Norway and had a shutout. Coming on again in the second half like she's doing today.
Some targets on the back post. Stacey Cook, number 3, we've mentioned her. She's great in the air, making a back post run. She's going to be the first player to run through the box.
Wambach, oh, powerful, up in the air and header, and one-time volley. That one just off target, though, by Joanne Love. Scurry had that one all the way, though. Quick restart. Jenny Benson, second half substitution, rather a starter. Kelly Lindsay was the second half sub. Those two look fairly identical from this standpoint. There is Lindsay. Kelly Lindsay, her 4th appearance with the U.S. women's national team, 5'6". Notre Dame University. Nikki Grant swings it to Kerr. Nice flick on. Trying to hook up with Donna James. Lindsay steps up, long ball. Off Scotland, throw in for the U.S. So an early second half flurry by the U.S. produced 2 goals. They've been somewhat quiet since that mini burst. Looking to build on it now. Hugh Cleese. Sombrero steps up, finds Hamm. Oh, that is a good, solid tackle from Michelle Barr. Outlet looking for Julie Fleeting. She's not fleet enough to catch that one, though. Fair, hammered on the double team. Earns the whistle.
Rob, I agree with you. I would have loved to hear the halftime speech for the U.S. in the U.S. locker room. I would imagine that one of the emphasis was that they wanted to have 90 minutes of total dominance, and they definitely had some breakdowns defensively. Probably challenged them to come out and get all over Scotland again. And they did just that, getting 2 goals early in the second half. But again, it looks to me like Scotland has settled into their very disciplined style of defense. Other than some mistakes they made early on, they're being patient.
Hamm, Wambach looking for her second kick save and a beaut from Faye. Mia Hamm and Abby Wambach, quite a little tandem for the U.S. They were doing it in WUSA this year, and the carryover effect is coming on. Jenna Klugel will be coming on right now for the U.S. in place of Tiffany Roberts, who continues to really excel here on the women's national team. Monday Night Countdown provides up-to-the-minute NFL news, comprehensive analysis, and live interviews. Get all of the news from the best in the biz. 7:30 Eastern this Monday, and that's leading up to Monday Night Football. Al Michaels, John Madden. What a great game, a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. The Super Bowl champs, the Patriots, host Jerome Bettis and the Steelers Monday night, 9 Eastern on ABC. Shannon McMillan and Heather Mitz up off the bench. They may be coming in as well to join Jenna Klugel into the U.S. 11. Sixth corner of the game for the States. Mia Hamm will take it. Driven ball. Faye off her line. Loose ball. Headed out. Chastain in pursuit. Brandy Chastain. Whoa, what an effort. Thank you, Brandy.
At the top of the show, we talked about her presence on set pieces. She's going to push up, even though she's trying to stay back and maintain some shape in the defense throughout the play of the game. On set pieces, she's so dangerous, and there's a great example of the passion that she brings to her game. Obviously, in a time of need for her, with her mother passing away. For those of you who may have just joined us.
The U.S. wearing the yellow armbands in memory of Lark Chastain, who passed away Friday. Increase the service, right to Fed.
A great story about Hucley's. They're doing team building exercises, and the players had to come up with their own example of team building, and what Angela did was by far the best one of all the team. The coaches felt is that she decided that she was going to polish everybody's shoes throughout the week.
I got some shoes she can.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But what a great, effort on her part to really infuse herself into this team and show that she cares for her teammates.
And some substitutions right now. Shannon McMillan and Heather Mitz coming into the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
Kate Sombrero and Julie Foudy will be coming off.
Shannon McMillan. Also in the game is number 23.
Heather Mitz, the Cincinnati, Ohio native, getting a lot of publication and press this year. We'll talk more about that later. Here's Hamm. First touch, a little strong, cuts it back, finds Wambach. Her second of the day. You betcha. 5-2 U.S.
Wambach.
In the 64th minute, it's Wambach from Hamm. Abby's third international goal and second of the day.
Well, Mia Hamm and Abby Wambach are combining so well. We knew they would with their chemistry with the Washington Freedom in the WUSA. It starts on a throw, and Klugel finds Hamm on a nice run. Hamm looks up. Watch this composure and watch the seam that she finds. She doesn't force it across the face of the box, face of the goal. She puts it back to the top, and Wambach, without any pressure, settles it down and rips it with her left foot. Beautiful goal, beautiful combinational play, great chemistry. Just an overall commitment on the attack by Abby Wambach and Mia Hamm.
Substitution number 16, Megan Sneddon.
How about this stat? Career assist number 110 from Mia Hamm. You forget about that aspect of her game. So much attention is focused on her goal scoring, but she is a playmaker as well. As Scotland makes their first sub. Smith out, Sneddon in. So a somewhat lethargic first half by the U.S. We saw Scotland opportunistically put 2 in the net, and the game tied 2s at the break. The U.S. has really come out storming. 2 goals from Wambach, 1 from Hamm in the second stanza. The U.S. on top by 3. This push of the match brought to you by Kit Kat. Jenna Klugel and Hugh Cleese working the double team. Shannon McMillan off the bench, gets bumped. Fantastic stat about Shannon McMillan with the U.S. women's national team this program, or this year rather. 11 goals and 1 assist in 2002 wearing the red, white, and blue for McMillan.
Nobody else even comes close to those statistics.
Hugh Cleese, why not? He gives up the rebound, cleared out by Kerr.
Been very impressed today with Scotland's patience around Faye, supporting her, either dropping back in. We saw the U.S. make some mistakes, not providing the needed cover in the first half for Hope Solo, but her defense has done a very good job of supporting her. If she's bobbling the ball, not holding on to it, they're there to clear it out.
Scotland may be wilting a bit under the weather as well.
Weather, jet lag, 2 training sessions yesterday was the word, so you've got to figure they're going to be fatigued. And again, what's going to be key is just to try and maintain the discipline that Coach Gervais says that they are known for. on defense.
Cleared out by Barr. Throw in. Heather Mitz will take it. Finds McMillan. Mitz runs off of it. McMillan tries to spin and face. Forced back. Finds Fair. Force that one into Hamm. Chastain settles it. Calm ball. Wide left to Benson. Wambach just kind of posting up. Drops it back to Fair. Mia Hamm more in that top diamond midfield position right now. Finds Wambach. Abby, the service to Mia. Hat trick. Yeah. Mia Hamm has 3 on the day. It's 6-2 for the U.S.
Finding what it takes to take over. Look who starts this play. It's Hamm. Finds Wambach, continues her run. Beautiful near post. Wambach saves it. Hamm is uncontested near post. Faye comes out and commits. And another look here. Look who starts it. It's Mia Hamm, but she continues her run. That's a great lesson to the kids at home. And she finishes it. She continues her run. This is our Phillips goal cam look. Again, near post. Beats Faye. Beautiful goal by Hamm, combining with Wambach again. Started by Hamm. Quick 1-2, she gets the ball back.
The world's all-time leader in goals keeps adding to her total. 133 now. She has a 7-point afternoon, 3 goals and 1 assist. Got a sneaky suspicion I may know who our Chevy player of the match is going to be. Scotland getting set for some substitutions as well. This portion of the match brought to you by Kit Kat. Scotland trying to slow things down, give them credit. They've given up 4 goals this second half, but they're still trying to remain composed as much as you can with Mia Hamm running down your throat. The foul on the play as Hamm took a little bump. This portion of the match brought to you by Lego. Heather Mitz. Nice ball. Hugh Cleese. Nice spin. Drops it. Mitz. Clear it out. There's Klugel. She's got good speed. Nice little burst, nice spin, gets by 1. Service, dangerous. Just a beat off there was Hugh Cleese, or it would have been 7-2 for the Stars and Stripes.
Talk about versatility in this U.S. lineup. This is one of the things that Coach Heinrich said when they played Norway in their last game that we televised, was the system allowed for a lot of diversity and a lot of players fighting for different positions. Here's Mia Hamm.
How about number 4? That one goes into the crowd.
Hamm right now is actually playing in the attacking midfield role. Again, versatility, but look at this. Near post goal. Started off by Lily. Again, here's Hamm. Beautiful goal there, beating the keeper. Again, she starts this one. Finds Wambach, continues her run. This is picture book. Again, near post. Mia Hamm has had a great game today, and the thing that's so neat about it is this is the first game that she has played this many minutes. Hamm, Wambach, Hamm, Wambach, Hamm. Can you think they're maybe combining a little bit together?
Just a little bit.
We knew they had chemistry coming off their WUSA season, but that's fantastic to see. But Mia hasn't played this many minutes in a game, I would say probably since a year ago.
Yeah.
Last year's Nike Cup. So again, she had surgery on her knee. She's come back, and she's taken her time coming back and not trying to push it too much. And she's really starting to look like she's getting on top of her game.
Suzanne Grant, number 18, into the Scottish lineup, playing a right forward type role. Buckeye fan out here with his parents, or with his kids, who may be acting like his parents today. Hamm, her 8th career hat trick today. Abby Wambach also with a multi-goal game. Joanne Love comes out, and Fenella Anand comes in. Much work for Brianna Scurry this second half.
A couple reasons for that. I think the U.S. really came out after Scotland in this second half, notching some quick goals and continued that flurry of goals. I think the U.S. has played better possession. I think that Scotland is fatiguing, no doubt about that. Jet lag. They had 2 training sessions yesterday, and they're just not as experienced and not as deep as the U.S. We got to see a lot of great new faces, getting some good international experience for this U.S. team. Angela Hughley's Jenna Klugel.
This portion of the match brought to you by Nike.
Today's attendance, 6,295. U.S. Soccer, your Columbus Crew, thank you for your
U.S. women in action next, September 29th in Uniondale, New York, as they take on Russia, the first game of the 2002 Nike U.S. Women's Cup, and then they head down to Cary, North Carolina. October 2nd and 6th, they take on Australia and Italy. Those last 2 games can be seen live on ESPN2. There's Heather Mitts. And here's the collision, which has forced a Scottish player down. A little bit of an elbow to the head of Fleeting.
Kelly
courtesy of Kelly Lindsay.
Just going in hard, making that defensive play.
Heather Mitts played her collegiate ball at the University of Florida, as did Abby Wambach. Voted one of the most eligible bachelors, or bachelorettes, I guess you should say, in the city of Philadelphia. Receiving a lot of attention for her looks, as we will say, but she has earned herself a call-up to the U.S. Women's National Team. She was called into the last camp, the Norway camp up in Minnesota, but she had some injuries which prevented her from trying to make the final roster.
Well, she had a hip flexor, and the sad thing about it was she actually was hoping to go back and join her Philadelphia team, but couldn't because she ended up injured, and I think that injury stuck with her for a couple weeks.
Claire Johnstone in now
your attention, please. Scotland substitution
for Gemma Fay in the Scottish Nets.
She replaces number 3, Gemma Fay. Substitution in the 76th.
Fleeting still being tended to on the sideline, so Scotland will play a woman down for the time being. They are down 4 goals in the 76th minute. Cindy Parlow with 1. Mia Hamm with 3. Abby Wambach with 2. 5 goals, courtesy the Washington Freedom players. Scurry off her line and wins that one. Jenna Klugel, no hesitation, plays the Boston Breakers, finds McMillan trying to get the spin. Couldn't quite hook up Hamm. Goal kick for Scotland.
It's amazing to see when you watch these players play at this level. The thing they do to buy time is deception every time. You just saw Mia Hamm doing it to buy some time. Jenna Klugel as well. Just throw a quick fake. It freezes your defender, buys the time, and allows for space to make the next play.
Well, they teach that at most of those soccer camps when you're young. Every time a ball's coming, you just kind of throw a hip, throw a head fake, throw an arm somewhere. Just buys yourself that much more time.
It's kind of like what we're doing up here in the booth. If I'm wrong.
A lot of hesitations, a lot of head fakes, a lot of pauses. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. Got to keep you on your toes.
You've been good today, though.
I have behaved. Enjoy it while it lasts. We got a lot of games coming up, Wendy. This portion of the match brought to you by Avaya. Gilmore, the throw-in, as Fleeting comes back in for Scotland. A little gimpy to that giddy up and go for Fleeting right now. Good anticipation by Klugel to win that one to Hamm. Starts the counter. McMillan breaking. She is onside and in alone. Has Wambach lurking around the penalty kick spot, but it's McMillan near post. Boom! 7-2 U.S.
And McMillan.
And of course, it's a quick counterattack ball by Hamm. McMillan gets up, look at her, heads up. She's looking around. She's the goalkeeper giving her that near post. Nobody in the box yet. The counterattack happens so quickly. And she beats the keeper. Welcome to the game, Claire Johnstone. Beats her near post. Beautiful finish by Shannon McMillan.
Her 47th career goal coming in the 78th minute. Mia Hamm, now 2 assists on the day to go with her 3-netters. She's looking for a hat-trick. And again, this is Hamm doing it from that midfield role. Here she is again by one, taken down. This could be a card, but Rachel Wu has some compassion.
She's fallen again on that same shoulder. Look at this explosion. I talked about, I think she's more explosive than she's been ever in her career. She trying to beat that defender and goes down again hard on her shoulder.
And that happens a lot when you see players taken away from the game. You know, sometimes they start to maybe take it for granted. This is my job, this is my profession. All of a sudden you're off the field watching your teammates do it. It gives you that extra little kick, that extra little motivation to win it back and keep playing. You know, these careers don't last forever. We have a free kick here, and like we need more people to talk on this broadcast. We bring in Julie Foudy. We'll talk to Julie right after this. Here's Chastain. Nice little touch. Klugel in the box. Far post. Hamm. Out of bounds. Julie Foudy joins us. Julie, thanks. And what was going on that first half? 2-2 at the break.
I don't know. Not where we wanted to be. I mean, we were creating a lot of chances offensively, but we just weren't sharp enough. And April pointed that out quite eloquently at halftime, and we picked it up, which we needed to. And I mean, Mia has been phenomenal, and I think she was a big spark for us second half. She's contributed almost every goal today, so it's nice to see how well she's playing.
I hear you tap dancing around April's halftime speech here. Give us a few more details.
No, it was great. I mean, it was. She talked about us, you know, not having a focus, and you know, we score a goal and then we kind of let down. We score again and we let down, and just not having any consistency more mentally, and that's what we've been fighting, is that inconsistency for 90 minutes. And so I think the second half was a very good performance for us.
Julie, how much of it you think, when we've tried to pay tribute up here to Brandy's mom passing away, and I mean, that's got to get on you guys mentally. It's got to be tough. I know you've all been there to support Brandy.
Yeah, I think Cindy and I were just talking here on the bench, and I think that played a big role. I think you know, yesterday was a very emotional day for all of us, and in that moment of silence right before the kickoff, you know, we were talking about how there were some tears shed right then. So you know, we said let's play today for Lark and for the Chastain family, because they've been such a part of our lives, and we wanted to play for Larky today.
Julie, as always, thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you at the upcoming Nike U.S. Women's Cup.
Thanks, guys.
Couldn't have been said better.
Eloquent as always, future President of the United States of America, Julie Foudy. This portion of the match brought to you by Avaya. Here's Scotland trying to get on the board for the first time in the second half. But again, not much creativity in their attack. Scurry kind of misplayed that one. Forces Mitz to one-time it out to midfield. Hamm has just been a pest all day to Scotland, especially the second half, where she's recorded 2 goals and 2 assists. Mitz attacking from the back, though. We like to see that. This push of the match brought to you by Bud Light. McMillan. Klugel showing some good hustle on the left side. Deep ball clearance to Brandy Chastain. Again, you see that yellow armband on her arm in memory of the passing of Brandy's mother, Lark. Brandy will be getting on a plane and heading home to California right after this game. That will be a difficult trip, but I know she's thankful that several of her teammates will be on that plane with her. I want to remind you, coming up this Thursday evening, DC United Metro Stars, great Eastern Conference showdown. Mamadou Diallo, Clint Matthews, Mamadou Kandi, Jaime Moreno, Marco Echeverri, a ton of MLS stars in that one as the playoff hunt begins Thursday live on ESPN2, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Substitution, Scotland, Susie Robertson comes in for Shelley Kerr.
You can just hear how hard the field is with that ball bouncing.
Not a lot of rain here in central Ohio this summer. You go outside the stadium and it's just brown. As always, the field crew here doing a bang-up job on this pitch. Here's Mia Hamm looking for her 4th goal. Hamm cuts left. Still has it. Why not try an effort far post? She is really playing well today.
Well, she's having fun, and emotionally, this has got to be great for her to get more than 45 minutes. For the latter part of the WSA season, when she came back for the Freedom, she only played a half a game. Actually, typically was coming in at halftime. And this has got to be great for her to know that her leg can hold up for 90 minutes. And boy, I tell you, she's been productive today. And she's playing in another role. She was playing as a forward in the first half, and now she's coming out of the center of the midfield as an attacking midfielder.
Oh, McMillan, cheeky back heel. Euclid couldn't put it away, though.
Well, she'd like to have that one back. Just trying to place it. Doesn't quite get enough on it.
Mitz watches this one go out of bounds. She'll take the throw in. I think April Heinrichs will be content to run Mia's tank dry. Force that endurance upon her. And it's something that April mentioned to us at breakfast this morning. This has been a difficult camp. They really worked this team physically, fitness-wise.
The difference was they weren't in their seasons. Of course, WSA is finished. And the players had anywhere between 1 and 3 weeks of rest time, depending on how well their teams did. So they came in fresh, and they didn't have anything to worry about as far as going back to their club team to play a game immediately. They've worked them hard. They worked the keepers hard, and they've responded very, very well.
This portion of the match brought to you by Bud Light. There is Mia, 3 goals, 2 assists. There's going to be some fuzzy voting if she's not your Chevrolet Woman of the Match. Sloppy ball there by Hamill. Just coughs it right back to the U.S. There's Fair in her 100th U.S. appearance. Well won by Chastain. The woman is a rock on the field, off the field, emotionally, physically. Just a solid human being. Michelle Barr plays it in the middle to Cook. McMillan on her, Wambach doubles her. Stacey Cook, you're a lucky woman right now. Good service to Fleeting, though. And not such a strong service there by Pauline Hamill. Brianna Scurry and Hope Solo, the 2 keepers that were kept in this camp. Who do you see being the #1 keeper maybe as we look ahead to World Cup qualifying later this fall for the U.S.?
Well, everything I've heard is that Brianna Scurry is really back on top of her game, and the only thing that you could really critique her about is her foot skills, and she's always had that deficit in her game. But everything else, her leadership that she provides, her athleticism, she is fit as can be. She's making field player standards on fitness, and but, you know, let's not forget about Lakeisha Bean and Siri Molinix, both great keepers as well, who will definitely be doing their best to vie for a spot as well.
And Brianna was frank in letting everybody know that she really let her body go, fitness-wise. She's had to earn the respect of her teammates back. She feels she really kind of let them down, especially with the Olympics not being there and their starting keeper. And Siri Molinix took over the position.
Of course, Molinix did a great job, and we have to remember as well that in this WUSA season, Molinix was hurt most of the time. She was coming back from shoulder surgery. For a keeper, obviously, that's very tough.
And Mia Hamm, your Chevrolet Woman of the Match. An 8-point afternoon, 3 goals, her 8th career hat trick to go with 2 assists.
Not a bad afternoon.
U.S. loves to see it. I'm not sure the world is so happy. The Chinas and Brazils of the planet less than thrilled to see that, I have a feeling. A little bit later tonight, the Houston Texans make their official NFL debut as they take on Emmitt Smith. And how about them Cowboys? It's a battle of Texas. The Texans and the boys tonight on ESPN. McMillan, Wambach. Well, we got another hat trick. Abby's a little gimpy, but she's got 3 on the afternoon. 8-2 U.S. Abby Wambach.
Mia Hamm has made all the right decisions this afternoon, and she has been combining so well with Abby Wambach. Looks like Wambach's calling for a sub here. May have rolled her ankle on that header opportunity. Take a look at this beautiful long touch. She looks up, knows that she's got Wambach in there. Wambach goes up, nice header home, and she twists her ankle on the way down, it looks like. But a beautiful finish. There's Mia Hamm serving the ball across, away from the keeper. Abby Wambach is up in the air, comes down a little gimpy. No one likes to see that, but again, a beautiful ball and a beautiful finish by Abby Wambach.
Well, if Abby comes off, the U.S. is just going to play a woman down for the remainder of this game. Abby Wambach off the bench, 3 goals in the second half for her first career hat trick. And Mia Hamm completes the double hat trick. 3 goals and 3 assists for Hamm today, 9 points. We might as well put that Chevrolet Woman of the Match graphic up again, because every time we put that up and talk about her, her numbers change. And Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to the U.S. Soccer Foundation in the name of Mia Hamm for being our Chevrolet Woman of the Match today. What started off as a shaky opening 45 minutes for the U.S. turned into utter and complete dominance. 6 second half goals. And that's all she wrote. A merciful end for Scotland. Brandy Chastain looking up. It's been a difficult 48 hours for her. A tremendous outing under very trying circumstances. Our Kit Kat break of the game comes from Abby Wambach, who really kind of opened up the scoring flood in the second half.
And this is when it happened. Benson with a beautiful ball in, and Abby Wambach coming through the box here. Beautiful run into the box. Scotland's just flat on their heels. Wambach comes rushing through, and that's our Kit Kat break of the game.
Abby Wambach and Mia Hamm both with hat tricks. The U.S. wins it, going away by 6. We'll be back to wrap it up after this.
Whenever you call me, whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be around.
Chevy, the cars you can depend on, the cars that last.
You never have to look too far.
Chevy, we'll be there.
Always with you.
Phillips Electronics, proud sponsor of the U.S. men's and women's soccer teams.
Is there any way we can talk to you for 1 second?
About what? Introducing Beg, Borrow, and Deal, the new reality game show from ESPN.
We have come through so much hardship.
You're just
Crazy.
bold. The begging begins Tuesday, September 17th, 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Thousands of new Fords traveling thousands of miles can only mean one thing. Clearance time is here. It's factory authorized clearance at your Texas Ford dealer, where you'll find savings by the truckload on almost every 2002 in stock, including Ford Ranger, now with 0% financing for 60 months or $2,500 cash back. Or Ford Escape, now with $1,000 cash back. That's right, $1,000 cash back. For thousands of choices, get to factory authorized clearance at your Texas Ford dealer today.
Time Warner Cable offers you the greatest value in entertainment.
No hidden fees.
Local customer service guaranteed.
Time Warner Cable. Pass on the dish.
We get all the local channels. No patches. No kidding.
Time Warner Cable. The very best in TV keeps getting better.
And we're back in Columbus, where the U.S. put 8 up on the board, their most prolific offensive outing of 2002. And this game for Lark Chastain, the mother of Brandy Chastain, who passed away earlier this week. What an outing, though, it was by Mia Hamm, our Chevrolet Woman of the Match, Wendy.
The exciting thing about Mia Hamm is that she did it 90 minutes, and that's been a year since she's been on the pitch for 90 minutes. A double, triple, 3 assists, 3 goals. Not a bad afternoon.
Not bad at all. Make sure to tune in for our next women's national team soccer telecast. Comes your way Wednesday, October 2nd, as the U.S. faces Australia in the Nike U.S. Women's Cup live on ESPN2, 7:30 Eastern. Coming up next, it's PGA Golf live from the Bell Canadian Open in Ontario. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Wendy Gebauer-Palladino and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Rob Stone. Thanks for joining us. The U.S. victorious 8-2.